4 different.
Good evening. Welcome to the Temple of Mercy Association, located at 616 East on 71st Street. I'd just like to begin by reciting our opening in the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sunships of millions of years, and he who's made time the seed of the universe. Known among the ancient Kemites, or the indigenous people of Africa, is Amiran Aton. Among the Hebrews is Ansar, Yahweh, and Elohim. Among the Christians is Lord, God, and Jehovah. And among the Muslim and the Islamic world is Allah, the one God. Among the Rastafarians is Jah, Rastafari. I bear witness that all of these names refer to the same one Almighty God, and it is to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the lost 13th tribe, born here in North America, and that we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the earth flow through our veins. It's in that essence and in that purpose that I come to you this afternoon and saying peace, hotep, shalom, assalamu alaikum, abaragani, alafia, and ashe. The purpose of our opening in the Temple of Mercy Association is to promote unity. For we know that there are many different fashions of religion in our community. We know that there are many different schools of thoughts, ideals, ideologies, and we don't want those things to stop us as black people from uniting to deal with the problems that we're facing in our community. So, Minister Rahim, being the founder of our great organization, and our co-founder, Minister Omari Jahi Aden, and our First Lady, Sister Makita Aisha Aden, put these things together that we may come together as one, that we might put aside those religious and philosophical differences that keep us from sitting at the table of unity. For there are things that are in our community that are not prejudiced to one religion over the other. With all the ills, both social, moral, ethical, economical, that we are facing in our community, no one organization, no one group, no one religion is exempt from these tragedies happening to us in America. For we know, and we believe and know, that the United States government, in collaboration with other European nations, have a denial objective to exterminate dark-skinned people of color off the earth through the act of genocide. And because the other nations of the world come together, despite their religious and philosophical differences, one thing that they all have in common is the rise of a black Messiah. And so whether they get along or not, whether they share the same religious persuasion, they are still going to come together to make sure that we, black people, stay on the permanent bottom of the social, economic, and political systems in the world so that our people won't have an equal footing to them. Almost everything that we involve ourselves in as black people is a subsidiary of some white-owned company. If you look at the majority of those that are in our community who have what we consider to be wealth, and you look at the report that just came out that says black wealth will be zero by the year 2053, what does that tell you? What is wealth? Wealth is the control and consumption of and distribution of goods, services, and market share. It's not money. It's not the car you drive. It's not the house you live in. It's the circulation and control of resources and market share. And if you look at everything that black people consume, none of it is 100% black owned. It might have a black face on it. It might have a black label on it. But if you look at the hair care industry that black women spend $30 million a year participating in, we got a lot of black, what we call own products in that distribution. Here's the challenge. Those black-owned companies don't manufacture the bottles, they don't manufacture the labels, they don't manufacture the machines that print the labels, nor do they manufacture the ingredients or anything that it pertains to putting those recipes and hair care things together. They own none of that. All of that is exclusively owned by another ethnicity. So is it really black-owned? If you look at the black wealth in our community, the majority of it comes through some contractual agreement that we got with either some entertainment company that's Jewish owned or some sports company, again, that's Jewish owned. And as black people, we feel good when they present us with a LeBron that says he's the first NBA player to make $1 billion. And we look at that as some type of progress for us. And it's not. Because tomorrow they can take away that contract and that $1 billion, and then what would he have? Didn't they just prove that to us with Kanye West? That they can freeze your assets, that they can take your money, that they can stop the manufacturing of your goods and your services and put you right out of business if you don't play ball by what they want to play ball? So with all of these things happening, with all the attacks that's going on, with all the black people that represent wealth because of their name and label on some alcohol, which we know alcohol is the #1 killer of black people in America. I'm going to say that again. We know that alcohol is the #1 killer of black people in America because alcohol is the gateway to almost every addictive drug that we happen to find black people on. Don't nobody just wake up one day and decide to pop a pill or snort some cocaine or smoke some lime. No, they got to take a drink. When we was growing up, we drank Old English 800 and we called it liquid courage. If we know we was going to deal with somebody on the next block or whatever, we drank that liquid courage and all of a sudden we could fight 10, 15 people and not worry about the consequences of nothing, because why? We drank liquid courage. And so we know what alcohol does to us in our community. We know that alcohol is the cause of all of these DUIs and people having accidents and road rage, and it's the gateway to almost every drug that's in our community. But yet we still keep saying, say no to drugs, but yet alcohol is continually being promoted to us, even though they say that it's illegal to market alcohol to children. But somehow, through the entertainment industry and the ownership of these white Jewish companies, they found a way to put a black face on almost everything we drink. And then they promote through social media all of these influencers, the 50 Cents, the P. Diddy, the Jeezys, the Rick Ross, and everybody, Snoop Dogg, everybody got their name on the alcohol bottle now. So that black people won't look at it as an attack, but that's exactly what it is. Anytime you can have a city ordinance in the city of Chicago that says a liquor store should not be within 400 feet of a church, of a school, or a park, because it's illegal to market alcohol to children. Anytime you can have in the 17th Ward a liquor store right next door to a daycare, and there's absolutely not one mumbling word said by anybody. No pastor, no politician, nobody said anything. We don't take offense to that. We don't take offense to the electric charms that they have in our community now. No longer do they put the little sign in the window anymore to let you know that this particular brand is being sold at the store. No, they got to spray paint the whole building from top to bottom, put an electric Tron outside that you can see from blocks away with all of these bright colors and lit up all night, all day, continuously programming our people to alcohol. And I know you all say, well, You all are always talking about the problem of what's going on with black people. Ain't nothing wrong with a little drink. Ain't nothing wrong with a little pastime, brother. What are you talking about? But this stuff is killing us. It's already been proven by several people that there's ingredients in the alcohol that creates and causes violence in our communities. But yet, no politician, no preacher is standing in their pulpit exposing the devil. We don't even talk about the devil no more. We talk about spirits, and toxic relationships, and toxic people. But we don't talk about the blatant attack of genocide that's been waged on our people to control our population. They said they were going to exterminate 2.4 billion people of color by the year 2029. We're in the year 2023. I think they're getting close to that. With all this wars that's going on in the world, with all the things that's happening in Ukraine, and all the aid and money that's going over there, but all of it is skipping past the black people there. With all the things that's going on in Chicago, we got 76 or 78,000 homeless people. Almost 70% of them are black, living on street corners and under bridges and underpass ways. And now we can become this sanctuary city all of a sudden. Now we want to exercise the right of being a sanctuary city, and we want to invite everybody else over here and give them all the resources necessary to be able to survive by leaving 78,000 people who are already here, considered U.S. citizens, and not giving them any relief, any resources, any aid. But we understand this is by design. But I don't want you all to think that this is a gloom and doom message and that I'm only here to talk about the problem and tell you that there's no solution, that all hope is lost, and that we might as well wait on the good bye-bye and just keep going to church every Sunday and paying our tithes, and sooner or later we'll get to this place in the sky called heaven. I'm not here to tell you that. But what I do know is that when the world is in chaos, when the world is in turmoil, when the cries of an oppressed people go out into the universe, I will tell you that God does answer those cries. God will intervene in our affairs. God will send a people under attack like that a mercy from himself. Because black people have been in this condition for over 460 years in America. It didn't just start yesterday. It didn't just start with the Democratic Party. It didn't just start with the Republican Party. It didn't just start with any of those things. This war against our people has been going on for a long time. But God will answer our people as he's done in the past. He sent us Moses. He sent us Father Abraham. He sent us Jesus, a.k.a. Yashua, HaMashiach, the Messiah. He sent us the most honorable Marcus Garvey. He sent us Prophet Noble Ali. He sent us the honorable Nat Turner, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He sent us Dr. Martin Luther King. He sent us Yahweh ben Yahweh. He sent us many of examples and messengers of God to show us the way, to give us what we need in order to find ourselves worthy to escape, because it has been prophesied that these things will come to pass. So it's not like we're going to stop them, but we can at least pray that we be found worthy to escape. In the book of Deuteronomy, in chapter 18, the 18 and 19 verse says, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee. And I'm going to stop there for a second. It says, from among their brethren, like unto thee. That meant he wasn't going to send you a Mexican. Sorry, black and brown coalition pushers. pushing this false illusion of inclusion. Them people don't give a damn about us. Them people don't have no alliance with black people. When the pandemic hit and our grocery shelves were empty and elders and women and children went into the brown people's community to shop, they were met with violence. Their car windows were smashed. They were pulled out of their cars and assaulted and beat down in the middle of the street. And you Negro politicians got the nerve to still be talking about a black and brown coalition. Ain't no damn coalition. They showed us what they thought about us. Sorry to all of us that think we got a relationship with our brothers and sisters from the motherland. We might have a love and affection for them because they're our family. But let's really look at it. Where's the love and affection that they got for us? When they come over here, they don't move into the south side of Chicago. They don't move into the west side. They don't move into a predominantly black neighborhood. They move in Evanston, a predominantly white community. And the only time you see them come in our community is at a festival when they got their wares and their shea butter and their tents and their entertainment and everything set up in order for us to come and do what? Spend our money with them. When was the last time you was at an African fest and you actually saw an African from Africa performing with us? You don't see it. Because they don't give a damn about us either. Sorry, truth got to be told today. He said, like unto thee. And when I say, or when I see like unto thee, that means a black man or woman born in North America that survived the transatlantic slave trade. That's the like unto thee. See, we got to get real specific about healing our communities. There are many different titles that one can get in the medical profession. But you can't be everything to everybody. You can't be a heart surgeon and do feet and hands and all this other stuff. You got people who specialize. The Temple of Mercy Association specializes in those black men and women born here in North America. Some of you all refer to us as African descendants of slaves. But those of us that's here. And he said in Deuteronomy, I will put my word in his mouth, and he will speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require of him. So there is a solution. Isaiah 9:6-7 says, for unto us a child is born, and a son is given, and a government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, like the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. And the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish with the judgment and with justice henceforth, even for forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. So it's not like it hasn't been prophesied. It's not like we haven't been told what's going to happen, but somehow in the midst of everything that's going on, I'm telling us in America that we have to show and exhibit mercy among our own people. We are so violent and disrespectful to one another, to where the slightest infraction or the slightest thing can happen, and we're just ready to automatically go from 0 to 100 on each other. Somebody can bump your car, and you're ready to get out and kill that person because they bumped a piece of metal, as if their life and your life is not more valuable than a car. As if the people's lives that are dependent on you and that person is not valuable enough to say, hey, it's just a car. Hey, that's what car insurance is for. The law says everybody got to have it. So what are we fighting for? Why are we so mean? Why are we so evil to each other? Why are we so hateful and backbiting? And the moment it looked like somebody get too sick more than you, now that nigga ain't no good. We got to have some mercy. Mercy is one of the greatest attributes that Allah gave us to have. And I'm glad we got a teacher in our midst that understands and exhibits that type of mercy, even to the degree that some of us don't agree with. Because sometimes we think it's too much mercy. That's a good question. Can you be too merciful? Well, if you know God, I would have to say no. Because God knows your heart, and God knows that person that you're dealing with. And when God says enough is enough, I don't care how much mercy you want to show on that person, He gonna deal with them people. I don't care how much y'all love these white folks. I know you want to have mercy on everybody. Have mercy on the illegal immigrants. It don't matter that they can come into our country and pass us up and get every resource that they've been telling us is not available for us. And the only resources that we get are band-aids on axe wounds. Y'all want to know what a real resource is? A real resource would be if the community owned any one of these shopping centers that we patronize in our community. That would be a resource. If we owned the land, if we developed the shopping center, and then we put our black businesses in this development, and we begin to create jobs for our young people and entrepreneurship and training programs to show our young people how not just to gain the skill of working, but how to duplicate the process. That would be a resource in our community. We don't need another $250 million for violence prevention to be paid to a whole bunch of people to walk around in our community in these colored damn shirts acting like they stopped in the violence that's going on in our community. Because the numbers show that violence is not down. And every time they talk about violence being down, they're saying, oh, it's down 4%. Well, I'm sorry. The way I feel about violence, 4% of 1,000 homicides a year, and those are just the ones that get reported. But 4% of 1,000 homicides ain't down enough for me. It's not. We don't need another 250 to know violence interrupters, to know peacekeepers walking the streets and having their lives haven't been changed. We see them out there. They just like everybody else. It's a job for them. Do they have the heart? Do they have the conviction? Do they have the actual love to transform the minds and hearts of our people? Minister Raheem said that the goal of the Temple of Mercy was to re-educate, to retrain youth and young adults. To do what, Brother Minister? To provide positive moral values as an alternative to the delinquent behavior that we see in our community. I know you all see it. Almost every day I go on social media, somebody's car has been broke in. I walked over there on Lakeshore Drive this morning and I was looking over where they got the migrants at, and I'm not going to blame it on the migrants because I hear it's been going on for some time, but I was looking at the ground where the cars were parked and I counted 17 spaces where there was window glass on the ground. Over on Lakeshore Drive. Who's over there breaking in these cars? Stealing your car charger and taking stuff off of your seat. I saw a news report and the white guy in the news report said, I don't even lock my doors no more. I just leave a charger on the seat because I know they'll steal that and keep going. And I'd rather keep replacing the charger than to keep replacing my window. What kind of world do we live in where people don't know how to leave other people's stuff alone? And then you add the alcohol, and then you add these guns, and now we got the wild, wild west in our community. And we wonder what's going on. Why is this happening? What's going on with our children? Who did this? We allowed these things to happen. While men slept, an enemy came in and sowed tares among the wheat and then went his way. But I'm telling you that alcohol is one of the major tares that was sold in our community. The flood of quick kill guns and weapons of mass destruction was what was sold among the wheat. AIDS, vaccinations, gun violence, the over-sexualization of children was sold among the weak, and then he went his way. And now we've clinged on to all of these ills in our community, and now we, like the Willie Lynch letter said, are creating and making these things self-refuting because now we're continuing this madness on our own. We let them come in and destroy what foundation God gave us, not just for family, but for government. Because the book said a government shall be on his shoulder. And we know what the government of God is. It's the Holy Trinity. And it's not just the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. We know who the Holy Ghost is. That's God's host. That's his black woman. You don't have to hide the fact that the woman is part of the Trinity. But why would someone want to hide the woman? Because they got some perverted mindset, some homosexual mindset. Another ideal contrary to the one God gave us that says no longer is it man, woman, and child, but it's just two adults and a child now. Another mind. Minister Omarion, co-founder, wrote a beautiful song. We're just children of another mind. Wrote that song in the 90s. And still now, in 2023, we are still children of another mind. Whose mindset are we representing? What dominant mindset is operating on the planet right now that says that black wealth will be zero? And it didn't say individual. The report said collective. So what's going to happen in the next 30 years? Is LeBron still going to be a billionaire? Is Kanye still going to be a billionaire? Will we still have a billionaire Bob Johnson and Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry? Will the Tyler Perry studios be around in 30 years? Well, from what I studied about white folks, they only give you a 20-year run because it's something that they understand. That any time a black person or any business, for that matter, can last for at least 20 years and amass $100 million in income, that whatever that entity or business or organization is will become a third or fourth generation business. And they don't want us to pass down no wealth. They want us to continue to consume and feel good about spending all of our money and not having enough resources to properly educate our children. Our children still reading on the third grade level, and we still fighting with the school system saying we want the teachers to be paid more money. For what? The kids can't read. I know. They paying the other folks that kind of money. Those other kids can't read either. I know. I heard it all before. But where's the outcomes in our community? Where are the outcomes? What is the outcome of a one-parent household today? We already know what it is. And we're not championing the cause of trying to change that. We already know in America that it costs more money to rent. And your credit score got to be a 680. And you got to make 4 times the amount of money for the rent. And you got to pay the first, the last, and the security deposit, and a $500 application fee for a 1-bedroom apartment where 1,000 homicides a year is taking place. When you can buy a home and have ownership for cheaper than that. We know what's going on in the community. Why are we not coming together like the other ethnic groups and buying our community? Where y'all gonna run to? Y'all don't see what's going on in the suburbs? Y'all gonna keep running to Lansing and running to Crete and paying them $500,000 and $600,000 for beautiful homes? Don't get it twisted. But that same $400,000 or $500,000 can buy a block in Inglewood and provide housing for other people besides yourself and provide
a weekly Sunday worship service. We invite you and your family to join us live every Sunday at 616 East 71st Street at our new time from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. and on Facebook from 12:30 to 1 p.m. If you have enjoyed what you have heard, please feel free to support us with a monetary gift on Cash App at $TOMANATION. Once again, that's $TOMANATION. This will conclude our live stream. The message you have been listening to will continue live here at the Aton headquarters. We thank you, Black family. See you next Sunday. Black Power.
This is the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Black power! Black power! Black power! Black power!